Hello to anybody watching. My name is Maddie. If you don't recognise me, my husband and I and our two children are members of the Frinton Free Church. We are mission members, which means we live and work in Papua New Guinea currently, and we are working with an organisation called City Mission. We live just out of the capital city in Port Moresby, and we are working on a rehabilitation and training centre for young men off of the streets of Port Moresby. So that is what we are doing. A few weeks ago, Sally emailed us asking if we would record a thought for the day. And to be honest, it's taking us a long time to get to this point. And I was actually gearing up today to send her an email to say, sorry, I don't feel in a position to share. I don't feel in a position to encourage. I just didn't have anything to give. That's how I felt. But as I was gearing up to write that email, I really felt convicted to share. So I'm going to let you know where we're at, and hopefully it is encouraging to somebody. We are, to be honest with you, very weary. It's been a long stint. There's been a lot of ups and downs and stresses and triumphs and all of that. But I don't think people would mind me sharing that we are feeling tired. Recently, to compound that, not only with the pandemic situation and all that means, but we've also recently had a very strange and shocking scenario on the farm. I won't share all of the details because of privacy issues, but it's something that really shocked us and rocked the organisation, and is taking time to rebuild, and has made us question a lot of different things. But not to go into those details, but to say, surrounding that circumstance and situation, we went for 2 family walks. Actually, just before this particular situation, we went, and our farm is 45 acres, but it's quite a long, skinny property, so you can walk from one end to the other end and look over the farm. And the first day we walked, I saw a rainbow, and it really lifted my spirits because I hardly ever see rainbows here. And it was just this reminder to me of God's promises. And then this particular situation happened, which just came out of the blue, and it shocked me, and I forgot about the rainbow moments earlier, and we just dealt with what we had to deal with. Oh, excuse my dog. But the next day, we did the same walk again. And we went the same way, almost the exact same walk as we had done the day previous. And I looked over the farm, and what was there but another rainbow, just smack bang over the farm. And I almost laughed because I was like, God, you just showed me this rainbow yesterday and reminded me of your promises. And then this crazy situation came out of nowhere and has rocked me. And now here it is again, another rainbow. What does that mean? And I feel like God told me in that moment, my promises surround your circumstances, good and bad. And it wasn't like in that moment I had this automatic peace and I felt like everything was okay and whatever. I was still dealing with grief, and I was processing all sorts of emotions, but I've been processing that word from God, that his promises surround my circumstances, over the last few weeks. And it wasn't until yesterday I realised actually what's happening at the moment globally is bringing out all sorts of different uncertainties and anxious thoughts that usually I would never even consider or pay any attention to. And yesterday particularly, I was getting our boys to sleep, and I was holding our youngest and rocking him to sleep, and I just got overwhelmed by these anxious thoughts out of nowhere. And it was a real act that I had to stop thinking about what I was thinking about. And I remembered in that moment what God had said about his promises. And instead of diving deeper into my fears and insecurities and anxiousness, I stopped and I prayed over my family and my boys and my husband, my family in the UK, the farm boys here, people and loved ones that we aren't able to be with right now. I stopped and I prayed over them, the promises of the Lord. And it was amazing in that moment when I retracted my anxious thoughts and I put in prayers and I covered them in God's promises. It was amazing, the change in my mentality, in my physical stance, in my heart, in my spirit. I just felt lifted and I felt at peace. And I guess that's why I'm here, and what I want to share today as my thought is, I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're high up on the mountain or if you're low down in the valley, if you're in the midst of this lockdown, and to be honest, it's really hard, and not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel is wearing you thin. I just want to say to you, dwell on his promises. He loves you, he cares for you, he sees you, he hears you, and he will bring peace to you amidst all that's going on. So I want to share a verse from Philippians. I'm not sure, it's really hard for us to see all the thoughts for the day because our internet is painful, to say the least. So I'm sorry if what I'm saying repeats other days, or this is a verse that's come up plenty, I'm not sure, but it's what I felt in my heart to share today. So Philippians 4 verse 6. Don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and mind as you live in Christ Jesus. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thought on what is true, on honourable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. So my thought for the day, my encouragement to you is, no matter how weary you're feeling, how tired you're feeling, dwell on God's promises. They surround you and they will uphold you, and he is there to comfort you. Dwell on his goodness, dwell on his peace, dwell on his love. Bless you guys. We can't wait to see you when we can get home, and have a great day today.